The inmates wanted the entire surrender broadcast live on television to ensure their safety. At the request of the FBI and the Ohio Department of Corrections, we were asked to do a marathon broadcast. We described the scene as groups of 20 inmates at a time walked out. There were hundreds of inmates, so the surrender took hours. Our photographers, standing in the freezing rain, had to keep shooting because leaders of the uprising were monitoring televisions on the inside. It was a slow but smooth process. Each group of surrendering prisoners was placed on buses and taken to other facilities around the state.
Fam, what's going on, man? It's your boy E. the King, and this is the Incarceration Podcast. Today, I'm doing a reaction video of the 1993 Lucasville prison riot that happened in the state of Ohio. Now, this is part 2 of the series, but it's a different episode giving us an overview of all the details that happened at the riot that took place at the prison in the state of Ohio, Lucasville, in the year of 1993. But before we go ahead and get into this video, y'all do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Let's go ahead and check this video out.
What happened at Lucasville will always be etched in our minds for murder.
We had one group called the Death Squad.
Kidnapping.
Prison guards became hostages.
The inmates rebelled against what they called unfair rules.
We're not going to take this anymore.
The result, 11 bloody days of standoff and negotiation. In April of '93, inmates rebelled against what they called unfair rules. The result, 11 bloody days of standoff and negotiation.
We had one group called the Death Squad. As soon as the riot started, there was a group of inmates that went around and sought out the snitches in the prison and killed 5 of them the first day.
It became clear early on that the National Guard was needed. The FBI was then called in, and they determined a team of negotiators would be needed because prison guards became hostages. Families of guards trapped inside gathered together. They marched toward the prison in song and prayer that their loved ones would be all right. We soon learned that at least one family would never be the same.
Bobby Valendingham was a guard in the L Block section of the prison at Lucasville. When the riot broke out, he fought off convicts, but he was hit in the head with a board. 4 days after being taken hostage, Valendingham's body, wrapped in a sheet, was thrown out a prison window. He had been strangled.
I want them to convict these men. I want them to go to the electric chair. I want a message sent to the rest of the convicts. You can't keep doing this.
Dang. All right, real quick. First question is this. The Death Squad, when they mentioned that the first day they went around and they killed 5 other convicts who were known snitches. My question is this. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. Were these snitches who had bad paperwork? And if so, why were they on the compound already? Or are these just like prison snitches? They had got the reputation while being at that prison for like riding kites and snitching and things like that. And then did they kill them because they didn't want these people testifying or making statements against the people who were rioting? If you guys know the details, let me know in the comments.
The days and nights kept rolling by. The media camp grew, and the story became a regular update on the national news. By the 10th day, the negotiations were making progress, and the media was needed to bring it to an end. The inmates wanted the entire surrender broadcast live on television to ensure their safety. At the request of the FBI and the Ohio Department of Corrections, we were asked to do a marathon broadcast. We described the scene as groups of 20 inmates at a time walked out. There were hundreds of inmates, so the surrender took hours. Our photographers, standing in the freezing rain, had to keep shooting because leaders of the uprising were monitoring televisions on the inside. It was a slow but smooth process. Each group of surrendering prisoners was placed on buses and taken to other facilities around the state.
Well, after the riot, the focus was bringing the inmates involved to justice.
Well, going into it,
That's actually very smart for the convicts who were orchestrating the riot and who were like negotiating with the negotiators, with the, police and National Guard, whoever, and they demanded that the release of the convicts was televised. That way nobody was hurt. That's very wise. I'm not condoning, riots and things like that, but that's very smart on their end, because if there weren't cameras, there were definitely going to be, you know, some police brutality against the convicts coming out. Not just the hostages, but the people who were starting the riots. So if you guys know any more details about that or any other wise moves that the guys who were leading the riots did, let me know and put it in the comments.
Walking through the acres of cell block, you know, the bloody clothes, the broken bodies, things like that, we thought that we didn't know what to think, I guess. We didn't know where we'd go. We didn't know who we'd charge. We had no idea what kind of success we'd have.
50 have gone on trial, 47 found guilty of various charges, 3 identified as ringleaders. 5 were sentenced to death, including the person identified as the mastermind, Carlos Santos.
He's very intelligent, he's very powerful, very manipulative, and I think that showed throughout the riot. He was able to get hundreds of inmates to rise up and do his bidding. But now that it's over, we're relieved it's over, and I feel strongly we got the main players in the riot.
Wow. So there were convicts who not only, like what they say, 47 people who were convicted for the riot, but then even 5 being sentenced to death, and them just showing the ringleader. But I do have a question though. This isn't the biggest prison riot in U.S. history, is it? I'm pretty sure that there's been riots in California that have been a lot worse with more casualties, more deaths, and maybe even longer. But I do know that this was a huge thing that happened in 1993 in the state of Ohio. It was, you know, all over the media, all throughout the nation. So I do know that. But you guys let me know in the comments of maybe a riot that was worse or bigger or lasted longer. Let me know in the comments, or also correcting me if I am wrong, and if this is the worst prison riot in U.S. history. Let me know in the comments. And I do got one last question. I seen in the comments a week or so back a conspiracy theory comment that it was the governor or the warden or somebody in some type of political power or in a position of authority that set up the riot for some purpose or intention to get everyone's attention away from what was happening in politics. And I don't remember all the facts, but it was a very long descriptive comment, and it kind of looked like they were putting a lot of facts in there, but then again, I have no idea. I didn't fact check it. But if you guys know anything about that conspiracy theory or just the details about it, let me know and put it in the comments. So look, man, it's your boy E.I. the King. This is the Incarceration Podcast. And family, look, I got a fire HBO style series on the full episode playlist. It's a chronological journey of my 12 years in prison. Season 1 has been out, but season 2 is just now coming out. But to access it, you have to become an all access member to this channel. And this is a preview clip of season 2 of the Incarceration right here. And to make matters worse, K3, the dungeon, everybody's out. Everybody's out of their cell. Everybody's in the day room, and they're watching the whole time. All of us in the orientation wing line up in different lines, knowing that they're breaking us down dorm by dorm. And everybody in the dungeon and K3, they seen everybody go outside the dorm and go outside. So they knew all the other people are going to the pound. But those of us who are still standing in the sally port, we're going in there with them. And they're sizing us up. Everybody's on the glass, looking at us, waiting for us to come in. Yeah. And also, if you didn't know, man, I am a rapper. My artist name is E.I. the King. You can find my music wherever you listen to your music at. Go to my artist YouTube channel, E.I. the King, to check out my music videos. Follow me on Instagram, E.I. the King. TikTok, E.I. the King. E.I. the King Official. For all you gamers out there, follow me on Twitch, E.I. the King Gaming. And family, look, I got a new YouTube channel, all crime things related. It's called Real Crime Stories Unlocked. There's about to be a link that pops up at the end of this video. Go ahead and click that link. It's going to take you to my new channel. Subscribe, follow, check out the content. It's fire. And family, look, we're on the journey to 50,000 subs. Right now we're at 40K. I appreciate all the day one viewers and day one subscribers. If you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Y'all do me a favor, go ahead and like this video right now. And for all the convicts watching, if you done time in a county jail, state prison, federal prison, you want to share your incarcerated experiences, email me at eithekingbooking@gmail.com. And as I interview you, we'll go ahead and post your interview up on this channel. If you got a YouTube channel, social media, I'll put it in the description to push people your way. And y'all stay tapped into more fire content to continue to come your way. It's your boy E.I. the King, and I'm out. Peace.